Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to attend this webinar on using summon usage reports and analytics tools. As mentioned previously, I'm Brent Cook. I'm the product manager for Summon, and I'll be walking you through a variety of things today. In particular, we're going to take a look at a couple of new items in the OBI reports, show you how to navigate and find these, and give you an overview of these changes. That includes the new reporting on the open access filter facet and the title click report as well, which we in the past have been calling the IEDL reporting. And I'll show you a few simple ways to interact with the data and get a little bit more out of OBI. So a few things to note. So first off, I'm going to switch over to my browser so I can demonstrate some things. So I am doing a live demo here. I will do my best to make it smoothly. If we run into any hiccups or anything, I'll be sure to explain that as well. You can access Oracle reports, the OBI reports, by accessing your Summon admin console. This is available. There are links in Toda, in Client Center, and in Alma if you're a Summon over Alma user. You just basically navigate to this console you can see here on the screen, click on usage, and that will take you to this page, which has links that takes you out to the OBI reporting. If you haven't been in OBI reporting before, you will come to this page, which is the default home page. You can see mine has a variety of recent and most popular items there. If you have not been in OBI before, it won't show you the screen. If you have been in OBI before, it will return you to the last place you were. So if you're looking for these reports, you're going to want to go into the catalog page. So you click on catalog here in the navigation in the upper right hand corner. That will bring you to a variety of folders that we see over here. We have the shared folders and my folders. A few things that I want to note is that the my folders is basically your storage space to put anything that you're working on. So if you want to experiment with some various reports or try different things out for size, my folders is a great place to store that. And this is only visible to you, so you can put anything you want in there. You can create some new folders. I created a couple of folders here, Webinar 1 and Webinar 2, you can see. So that's a great place to store things as you work on it. In addition, you have the share folders here, which I will go ahead and expand and talk a little bit about each. So within Summon, if you look in this folder, this is where you'll find your dashboards, some example dashboards. It's also where you'll find some reports. The dashboards are under shared folders, Summon, dashboards, and then the reports for Summon are under shared folders, Summon, usage, reports, and under there you'll find a variety of reports. We also have Summon Community here, and then this one that says Summon Demo, rather than the word demo, you'll have the name of your institution there. Anything that you put in the Summon Community folder will be shared with anyone. So any institution that goes in and looks in the Community folder, you can see what other institutions have put in there. They won't be able to see your data, but they will be able to see the reports and generate those reports using their own data. So if I did a customization of the title clicks report, for example, and I set a specific date range and I save that in the community folder, someone else could go in and at a different institution, open that same report, get the same date range set for that title click report, but using data only from their site. Within the Summon folder, as I've shown here with all these various reports that you have on the screen, this is where we store the canned dashboards, the majority of the canned dashboards and reports. And then Summon Demo, or the one that has your institution's name, that's a great place to store things that you want to share throughout your institution. So it's kind of a great place to store things that you feel are complete and ready to go and you want to maintain for a long time. So that's how to navigate to these initial reports. So let's take a moment to take a look at the title clicks report. I'll show you where that is in just a minute. There are a few things that I want to cover. On the roadmap, I've been referring to this as the IEDL reporting. It does report only IEDL links, so any of those enhanced links or direct links to content will show up in this report. Unfortunately, open URL clicks are not currently reported as part of this, but there are other ways to get that data, such as looking if you're a 360 link customer, looking at some reporting we have in there. The data that we have available in the title clicks goes back to 2018. However, we added the code in order to get to the level of granularity you see here in the screen grab on the right on July 29th. So when we go to the reports, you'll see anything before July 29th, you'll still have a total number of requests or clicks, and you will still have a row for each, but it'll be a roll-up of everything for that day, and it won't have the detail around the provider, database code, and database name. I'll show you that in a moment. And again, that is reported by week. Just a word about data cleanup. All of these various fields or columns are being propagated from information from the metadata. As much as possible, we've cleaned this up. But there is the possibility that you may have records for the same provider or the same database name that are spelled slightly different or may have special characters in them so that they're represented as two different line items in the title click report. The good news is that database code is clean. So that if you were looking at it and you see multiple line items with the initials like JQR here at the top, anything that has that code JQR is from that same source. And now I will take a moment to show you this in the actual report. So, as I mentioned earlier, the majority of reports are under shared folders, summon, usage, and reports. The title click, however, we did put that in the community folder. That is available here under title clicks. It's at the bottom of that community folder if you select that. This is protected, rewrite protected, so you can't go in and modify this title click report yourself. That way everyone can have access to it and it'll be there the whole time. So I just clicked on that. I am reloading the page. And I should mention, if you ever get this page where it says copy link requires Adobe Flash, a refresh of the browser page will usually resolve that and display the report for you. There are times too where you might get a login as well. A lot of times refreshing that and saying that you want to resubmit the information will refresh to the page you're on. If not, you can go back to the admin console, click on the link, and it will take it back. We're trying to make sure that doesn't happen too much. A lot of it has to do with the time that it takes to do a return. But if you do get stuck there, that's a quick way to resolve that issue. So again, as I was mentioning, here's the title click report. You've got provider names here, database codes, database names, and then total number of requests. I'm showing you information from our demo site. This is one that we just do some testing and some other things around. There's not a lot of clicks here. Don't worry, yours should have a whole lot more clicks than this. But for the sake of testing, we do some work in here. I just want to show you a few things about this area of the report. So again, by default, it's got the columns in this order. You can rearrange the columns if you'd want for display. You can change the sort of any column by requests, by week, things like that. You can also drill down to a specific week. So I'm clicking on the second. And for this day, we only had one day where there were searches happening. You can see that right here. If you want to, again, yours should be more populated than this, and you should have more data, such as what you see in this larger report here. Oh, excuse me, I backed out too far. So if you would like to manipulate this data, if you'd like to get in and modify it, you can go in and change the report. And again, as I mentioned before, everything prior to the 29th, as you can see here, you have total counts, but you don't have the granularity available in that report. If you'd like to go in and do some work and manipulate the data, you can simply click on the export link here down at the bottom, export to whatever format you like. I particularly like either the Excel or the comma separated value or the tabs limited formats because those are really easy ways to work with the document. Once you do that, I did this prior to here so we wouldn't have to wait for the export. It only takes a minute depending on how much data you have, but it's fairly quick. It will export it into a report. Here I did it into the Excel format, and as you can see, it looks pretty much like it did within the OBI report itself. You can then take this information and manipulate it however you'd like. I took this data, I removed the week date out of it because I want to just take a look at the total number of requests and where were my highest requests coming from for my site. And here's where you can see some totals around that. Again, by doing some work here in Excel, you can really start to understand the data a little bit more and do some processing of it. And all you need to do is navigate to the report, go to the bottom, and click on Export. can group sources there by database codes. That is consistent. That's an internal code that we're using to make sure that we can match things up. And as I mentioned, using this right here in order to do the export is a very easy thing to do. Just click on that export piece right there, and you're ready to go. I also want to talk a little bit about our new open access Facet reporting. If you look in either the Facet's usage dashboard or the report, you'll find open access facets being reported. We added this functionality in May. Until May, there actually was, in a couple of different places, there were 2 different ways that we spelled is open access. To the human, they look pretty similar, but to reporting, they look completely different, and that is open access without spaces and is open access with spaces. Again, we addressed that in May, but if you look at the May date or prior to that, you will see there's both, you can see the green one here is open access, and the sort of steel blue purplish color is open access as well. Those will be 2 separate line items. We weren't able to go back and marry up that data cleanly prior to that, but it has been fixed for May 2019 and should be fine moving forward. The report captures the total number of searches and sessions by facet type. If you look at the bar chart there, the white number that is on each of those bars is the total number of unique sessions. And so if you take a look, for example, I've got it set to April right here. If you take a look at that and you add up your total number of sessions, that's greater than 182. And of course, the cause for that is people can apply more than one facet to a specific session. So there's a lot of information in this graph right here. And I will take you to the live version so we can take a look at it and you can see where you find it. So if you go back to the catalog tab, and then you look under summon, usage, reports, you'll get all your various reports, and you can also do the same thing by going to the dashboard here and clicking on expand to see what the dashboards look like there. Go into facets, and that will take you to a dashboard. And again, here's that data that you can interact with. I can go here, and currently it says September, and the variety of sessions we have and facets selected for September, but I can easily change that to April to take a look and say, okay, how many of those searches back in May, how much of that green chunk, excuse me, I want to go to May, because there's a nice green chunk there that's open access, and you can see right there that there were 58 facets selected for open access, as well as 12 others here with the other spelling, over a total of 6 sessions. So that shows that multiple folks were using that open access facet, and when they did it, they were using it over and over. And again, your data will probably have much better numbers than that. This is a limited set of data that we're looking at for testing purposes. So that's where you'd find facets on the dashboards. However, if you go into the dashboard, that doesn't provide you with the links to be able to edit and things like that. So I'm going to expand my folders here. Go down to the actual report. Again, is from summon usage reports, and then I will go down to facet usage. I will do that on the monthly basis. So click there. Gives you the same report basically. The one difference here though is that you do have this row of links that allow you to do a variety of actions at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to click on edit, and that will take me over to my page for editing what's happening with the report. Here you see a basic layout of it. This is where you can go in and you can change the layout, move the tables around, change some of the headings, things like that. All done right here. The tools for each one of these tables is right here in the upper right hand corner. And so that's fairly easy to navigate. What I'm going to do is show you how to change the date range though, which is just the tip of the iceberg of the things that you can do to change the criteria within this report. So to do that, first off, I'm going to save a copy. Okay, so up in the upper right hand corner, you've got save and save as. I'm going to click save as. Again, these are some of our standard reports, and you won't be able to manipulate them, but I can go in here and do facet usage. and type in weekly because I'm going to change it to a weekly report and hit OK. And again, I'm saving that in the My Folders area because that's my Scratchpad area. That's where I'm going to sort of mess around and maybe make some mistakes, hopefully get it all right. But at the end of the day, it'll be a place where I can make a mess and clean it up fairly easily without affecting anyone else. Again, it's fairly straightforward, but you always want to make sure you have a backup like that. And the good news is we have the permission set up and the system set up so that you should not be able to do any changes or damage to any of the existing reports or other areas that people are working with. So that's always good to know. So I want to change the dates. So I'm going to go over here to Criteria. That's going to refresh the right-hand side of the screen here and show me the various columns that I have and how they're formatted. If I want to change the formatting of those the columns, I can go right here and use these drop-downs. But as I mentioned, the thing I really want to do is change the date. Okay, so I have date selected to begin with. That comes in as default. I can come down here and I can hover over either one of these and click on the pencil in order to edit it. For example, right now, the Facet report only has a Facet show up if it has more than 10 uses. So if there's less than 10 clicks on that Facet value, it won't show up in the report as it is initially defined. And that's because there's a lot of different facets that we have out there, and many get 1, 2, 3, and a lot of times it's ones that you want to see more of. But if you want to see that full picture, you would just click on that edit button and make a change there. I'm going to change the date. So if you take a look, that's the top row right here. And I should mention, by the way, if you so choose, you can certainly follow along as I do this. You can access your instance of OBI, and it won't impact my usage of the system. So I'm going to click on Edit the Filter. Here's all the information that's already in here based on what we have currently. I'm actually going to clear this SQL expression. That's basically setting up what the timestamp looks like when you display it there in the report. So I'll clear that out. I'm going to leave this set to is greater than or equal to. You have a variety of options you can choose there, but I want to do from September 1st to today. So I'm going to edit that. So you can go here and you've got a section here that has the same subject areas as you had on that main screen. I'm going to click on dates to expand that. You get a variety of options there. As I mentioned, I wanted to do week, so I'm going to just do that right there. And so if I select that, click on this little arrow to move over to add column, that right there changes it from month to week. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to click on this little calendar option right here to bring up my calendar picker. And as I mentioned, I want to do it by week since the beginning of the month. So that would be the first. Okay. And then I click OK. And that change is now reflected here in the filters area. If you'd like to see what that looks like when you actually get into the report, just click on the results tab right here. It should refresh. And if all went well, I should have a new weekly report. Okay, so earlier it was, it may take a little bit to refresh to do that. I will go ahead and show you what that looks like in one that I've prepared earlier. So if you look right here, oh no, sorry, not that one. I'm going to do the first one. Again, if you click on this Facet usage with the modified date, it now displays 2 weeks worth of content here in separate weeks. And again, you can navigate the same way that you did previously, clicking on this weekly drop-down to switch from weeks. And again, there's not a lot of data in here because this is a test site. So let's take a moment to see where we are in our PowerPoint. So again, I will make all of this instructions available to you. Make sure that you have the information on how to find it, that it's in the Action Usage Dashboard and Report. And currently, the default is to show the last 7 months, but as I just showed you, you can change that time frame as well as how you break it up into days, weeks, months. And again, editing is the way to go. You click Edit, make sure you save a copy, Go to criteria and make your change. Clear the red X to make sure that the SQL expression is gone, the formatting from the previous one, change the column to week, and then select a date to begin with. And results should show you your work. And again, if you want to keep it, save your work, save it in your My folder. If it's still a rough draft, save it in either your Summon folder or your Summon institution folder if you want to share it internally, and then save it to community if you want to make it available to folks beyond your institution. And again, they won't be able to see your data. They'll only be able to see what it is that their data within your report that you've created. One last thing I want to cover is talk a little bit about some of the additional reporting development we have planned. I want to call out that both Open Access Facet and the Title Clicks report were part of the new enhancement request system, or NERS, from Igloo and Illuna. So those were two reports that you had voted on in the past and said that you want to see appear in OBI. We'll continue to add new reports in 2020. We also have a variety of outstanding issues that we need to address. I've been working with a working group within the Illuna and Igloo organizations, the analytics working group there, and working with them to identify what are the outstanding issues we need to address, and how in what order or what priority we use to address those. So for 2020, you should expect more around OBI. Feel free to email me at brent.cook@xlibrisgroup.com. As you play with the reports or test out the export, for example, and you have some feedback, please let me know.